I want to see who truly loves the Miami Heat, and the best way to do that is littering the comment sections with those 305s. So show me you're a real one and that you love the Miami Heat by spamming 305 in the comment section. All right, I am Nick Roloff. This is the Heat Report by Chat Sports. And on today's show, we are talking about this man right here, Kai Jones. Should the Heat sign the former first-round pick after he was let go by the Charlotte Hornets? It's certainly been an interesting situation, but it was elevated yesterday when Shams Charania reported that the Charlotte Hornets have waived the former first-round pick out of Texas, Kai Jones. He's an athletic big man who's only been in the league a couple of years now, but this has been a very weird situation. It started in the offseason with Kai Jones hopping on IG Live, dancing, looking like he was on something. Listen, there's no way to confirm what was happening, obviously, but it looked like something was up. And then he's had some interesting tweets, interesting social media posts and stuff like that. And he requested a trade on Twitter. He literally said, in quote, "I want to formally request a trade from the Charlotte Hornets." Very strange situation down in the Queen City, but then it ultimately leads to Kai Jones being released. So I want to explore if the Heat should potentially take a look at the former first-round pick. And if you want to get to know Kai Jones, he's only 22 years old, so he's still pretty young, even though he's been in the league a couple years. He's 6'11". He was a former 4-star recruit in high school, 49th nationally ranked. He went to Texas. You can argue that Texas might have ruined him. Maybe Shaka Smart got in there and poisoned the guy's mind. Who knows? Shaka Smart's a little bit of a scumbag, if you ask me. And then obviously he was that first-round pick in 2021, 19th overall. And when you look at what he did in college at the University of Texas in Austin, he only averaged 6.2 points per game, 4 rebounds, 1 block, shot 55% from the field and 34% from three. But he's not really someone that produced at the collegiate level that would make you think he's a first-round pick. The reason why he was drafted 19th overall is because of his upside. He has a lot of athleticism, a lot of defensive promise, and that is why he was drafted as a project in Charlotte. And I believe that draft, that was their second first-round pick for Charlotte, so they had some wiggle room to draft. I think that was LaMelo Ball at number 3 overall, and then they took Kai Jones. So they knew they were getting Ball, who is a proven, well, I guess they wouldn't say proven, but we knew he was going to be good. At least I did, coming in the league. And then they took Kai Jones, who had some upside later in that first round. So I think the Heat would be intrigued by taking on Kai Jones just for his upside and athleticism, but we'll explore if they should do it. First, though, I want you to be the GM. Would you guys sign Kai Jones to the Miami Heat roster? Type Y for yes, type N for no. This is today's pinned comment. I want to see what you guys have to say, so make sure you go answer it in the comment section. If a YouTube ad break play, let it play and go answer. But looking at what Kai Jones has done in the NBA, well, it has not been much, if we're going to be honest. In 67 career games, which is over the span of 2 seasons, he's averaged 2.7 points per game, 2 rebounds, a half a block, while shooting 56.7% from the field. I don't love what Kai Jones has shown on that end, and he's kind of been buried on the depth chart a little bit. They've had guys like Mark Williams, and Kai Jones has really just been put on the bench and not been able to take advantage of the minutes he's been on. That first-round pick seems like a miss for the Hornets early on, and maybe that's what Michael Jordan had to leave the franchise. Full transparency, I love Michael Jordan, by the way, but he was a horrific owner in Charlotte. Poor MJ, blemish on the resume, excuse me. But Rolly's take is that Kai Jones has some serious athleticism and someone that has potential. But he needs to be in the right system for that potential to be unlocked. We know that the Heat are very good at helping players get better in their career. Just think of guys like Gabe Vincent, Max Strus. Hell, we even seen our guy Cole Swider taken off in 1 preseason game already. The Heat are a franchise that are able to take you in, rehabilitate you a little bit, and make you a better project or prospect and get you paid after you come in to the 305. So I would be intrigued with signing Kai Jones and making him someone who can benefit this roster as a third-string big. I mean, it couldn't hurt, right? As long as he's not hurting the team and hurting the locker room, why wouldn't you take a chance on a former first-round pick? You have 2 roster spots, which we'll explore who should get those roster spots here in a second. Kai Jones could absolutely be someone who the Heat look at. Before we move on, though, I got to show some love to our sponsor on today's show, and that is PrizePicks. You have to head over to PrizePicks because they are the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America. You could instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch their winnings roll in. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for first deposit match up to $100. I'm taking my talents to the NBA preseason tonight. I'm taking more than Donovan Mitchell, 14.5 points. And then I did a nice little 2-pick selection, and my second pick was Jordan Poole, more than 15.5 points. He's finally getting his chance to shine as a number 1 or number 2 option with the Wizards, and he's going to put the league on notice with a good performance tonight. Another positive of PrizePicks is that they allow quick withdrawals and have easy gameplay with an enormous selection of players and stat types, which make playing DFS so much fun. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for first deposit match up to $100. One more time. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for first deposit match up to $100. All right, the Heat do have 2 open roster spots, and they're not just going to leave those 2 spots open, right? They're going to sign someone to add to the active roster. And I think there are 4 main candidates that the Heat are going to be thinking about right now, or if they could dip into the free agency pool for a guy like Kai Jones, or maybe even a reunion with Goran Dragic. But R.J. Hampton, Dru Smith, and Jamal Cain are all two-way contract players for the Miami Heat right now. And then you see that guy in the second slot, Cole Swider, who had 17 points in the first preseason game against the Charlotte Hornets. He is currently on an Exhibit 10 contract and could be someone the Heat elevate to an active roster spot. But the Heat will have to make these moves. Like I said, they're not just going to roll into the season with open active roster spots. So it's the question of which two-way guys get elevated, or if Cole Swider gets elevated from an Exhibit 10 contract to an active roster spot, because he has shown a lot in training camp in the first preseason game so far. But I just want you guys to make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We cover the Heat better than anyone on YouTube, and we are inching closer and closer to 6,000 subscribers, so hit that sub button and help us join there. Another positive of subscribing, you're going to be part of our live watch parties for the NBA season. We went live for the Heat's first preseason game against the Charlotte Hornets, and you know we're doing it again against the San Antonio Spurs tomorrow evening, so make sure you come join us. Unfortunately, some of the starters won't be playing, but we get to watch Victor Wembanyama against Cole Swider. That is the matchup of the century, so make sure you come join us tomorrow evening. Speaking of Cole Swider, he needs to be added to this active roster. He needs a roster spot. And I'm getting concerned that if the Heat hold off and don't sign him shortly, another team is going to try to poach him, because what he did against the Charlotte Hornets in the first preseason game of the season was nothing short of spectacular. He had 17 points, 2 rebounds, and went 5 of 9 from the field, all of those shots coming from beyond the arc. All those points, by the way, came in the fourth quarter, and he is the sole reason why the Heat were able to climb out of a double-digit deficit in the fourth quarter and win that preseason game. I know winning and losing in the preseason doesn't mean really anything, but it is nice to get a win, and Cole Swider showed that he's going to be able to be someone to be played in the big moments, in the clutch moments, and hit a big shot. Swider was the one who put the Heat over the top with a three-pointer with just over a minute to go. He's looking like 2019-2020 Duncan Robinson out there from beyond the arc, and that season is what got D-Rob paid. Unfortunately, that got him paid, because ever since then, he has shown or fallen off a cliff and basically robbed the Miami Heat like Chandler Parsons did back for, what was it, the Rockets? Memphis, the Grizzlies, when he robbed the Grizzlies. Chandler Parsons, Duncan Robinson, never seen him in the same room. That's all I'm going to say. But let's show some love to Cole Swider. Spam those 21s, his jersey number, in the comment section. If you want him to be on this Heat roster come October 25th against the Detroit Pistons, spam those 2 ones. One person who should not be on this roster, Dru Smith, because this dude stinks. He is one of the worst players I've ever watched, and I'm sick of the Dru Smith experience in Miami. The Heat have liked this guy for 2 years. He played a little bit on the roster last season. He was with a 2-way contract, but this guy cannot play anymore. Look at what he did against the Charlotte Hornets. He played 18 minutes, 2 points, 3 assists, 3 turnovers, 4 steals. I give him credit. He's a little bit good on the defensive end. But 0 for 6 from the field. This guy can't score. I feel like Stephen A. Smith on Quabi Brown right now. He got no footwork. He got no touch. He can't do anything. Dru Smith stinks, man. I really don't want him to be someone the Heat look at to be on this active roster come regular season time. In my wants, it's very simple. I want R.J. Hampton and Cole Swider to get those last 2 active roster spots. Bump R.J. Hampton up from a 2-way. Move Drew Peterson, who we have not seen in the preseason, but I like him a lot. The former USC Trojan is someone that does it all. He plays on all 3 levels. He playmakes, he shoots, and he defends. I think the Heat are going to like Drew Peterson a lot, so get him on a 2-way, let him play in the G League in the Sioux Falls, move R.J. Hampton up, and then sign Cole Swider to an active contract. I think that's what Pat Riley should do, and I honestly think that's what he will do after the preseason, before the season officially gets underway. And as the season is basically here, almost 13 days away, I think, to the date exactly, make sure you are subscribed here at the Heat Report, because we're going to cover the Heat during the season better than anyone else. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, we're doing watch parties all season long, so don't miss out. Hit that sub button right now and don't be a fraud.